In this video, I will be demonstrating 4 tests that can be used to assess flexibility. Before beginning any of these assessments, it is important to begin by performing a 5 to 10 minute aerobic warm-up. The first assessment will be the Canadian trunk forward flexion test, which will assess hamstring and lower back flexibility. First, we'll start by removing our shoes and sitting with feet flat against the box. We'll reach forward and exhale as we reach. We'll hold the position for 2 seconds, and it is important to not lead with one hand and ensuring the knees are not bent. This test is scored in centimeters. We'll repeat the assessment and take the best of 2 scores, and we will then categorize ourselves according to the table in the ACSM book, which we will subtract 3 centimeters from each value in the table. For this assessment, we will categorize ourselves based on age and sex. I am a male and I am 23 years old and I reach 34 centimeters. I'll subtract 3 and get 31 centimeters, which will categorize myself as good. The next assessment will be the YMCA sit and reach test, which is used to assess hamstring and lower back flexibility. We'll start by removing our shoes, place a yardstick on the floor, and we'll place a strip of tape on the 15-inch mark. Place our feet on the edge of the tape 10 to 12 inches apart. This test is scored in inches. We're going to repeat the assessment, take the best of the 2 scores, and categorize ourselves according to table 5.3 in the ACSM book. We will categorize ourselves based on age and sex by using this table. I am a 23-year-old male and I reach 17 inches, which will place me as average. The next assessment is a chair sit and reach test, which is good for assessing hamstring flexibility in older populations because it does not require them to get down to and up from the floor, which will reduce stress on the lower back and spine. You will need a chair that is 17 inches in height and it will be placed against the wall. You will sit towards the front of the chair, and there's also no need to remove the shoes for this test. We'll extend one leg with the ankle dorsiflex at 90 degrees, and we'll keep the untested leg flat on the floor. Keeping the head in normal alignment, we'll exhale when reaching forward. We'll hold the final position for 2 seconds, and we will need a second person to hold the ruler and assist with this test. This test is scored in inches. If you go past the big toe, it is counted as a positive score. If the fingers do not go past the big toe, it is counted as a negative score. And if the fingers touch the toe, that is counted as a score of 0. I tested my right leg first and reached a score of positive 4 inches. I then tested my left leg and also got a score of positive 4 inches. The fourth and final assessment will be the Thomas test, which assesses the flexibility of the hip flexors. We'll start by having the participant lie supine on the ground. Using a mat is optional. The participant will bring one leg in the direction of the chest just to the point where the lumbar spine is snug to the floor or the table. If the tested leg remains in contact with the floor or table during this maneuver, the hip flexors of that leg are adequately flexible. If the tested leg rises, its hip flexors are likely to be inflexible. We'll record whether the hip flexors in the right and left legs are flexible or inflexible. First, I started with the right leg. I brought it to my chest. The left leg remained in contact with the ground, which means the flexors of my left leg are flexible. I then switched to the left leg, and my right leg stayed on the ground, which means my right leg hip flexors are flexible as well.